want to say, like, you already have your personal statement written, and you know, you have your unofficial transcripts in your hand, because you have to go in and put all the classes you've taken and the grades and everything. So that it takes a long time. But if you kind of have everything organized, I mean, as soon as that date opens, you can get it in. And with that said, it's not getting everything in, you know, and then the supplemental opens up in July. So being complete by July 4th, you're not going to be at any greater advantage than if you're complete on August 20th. Okay, because they're not going to start calling you for an interview until late August. So it really, I mean, it takes a while, but you don't have to, you know, rush the gun and try to get it all in by June 15th or something like that. Okay. Any other questions on it? Okay, this is the current class, freshman class that just started in June. The overall GPA, the entire class, 3.59. Last year it was 3.58. Really good. Science GPA, 3.50. The DAT, last year it was 1919. This year it was 1820. That's 18 is the academic, 20 is the perceptual. You can see out of state, a little bit higher than the in-state. Any questions on that? Those are the averages. So some higher, some lower. The minimum to apply is 3.0 and 16 on the DAT. So if your GPA is a little bit higher, but you scored lower in the DAT, you know, it kind of makes up for it. And how it all works is you get indexed. Okay, so your GPA accounts for 25% of your index score. The DAT accounts for 25%. When you come in and interview, you'll interview with 3 committee members, and they all give you a score. That average score accounts for 25%. And then the final 25% is made up of the committee vote. So after you interview on Friday, the following Wednesday the committee meets, and one of the faculty members who interviewed you will present you and say, you know, Johnny has this GPA and these scores. He spent a lot of time volunteering with Habitat for Humanity. He did a dental mission trip. He shadowed 200 hours, and you know, and so then the committee will give you a vote, and then that counts for the 25%. Okay, so theoretically, at the end of the day, we accept the top 58 students as far as their index score. Okay. Now there are other circumstances that, you know, I mean, they try to create a diverse class, so they want have students that are from rural areas, you know, metropolitan areas, students who have different majors, you know, different ages. You know, they really try to make up a diverse group that kind of is a mirror of society in general. Okay, does that kind of make sense? So usually those factors fall into in the interview scores, you know, on all your non-cognitive. So, but that's kind of how it works. So to get to the interview stage, though, you're basically indexed according to your GPA and DAT. And so then, you know, basically of the completed applications, you know, the top 12 every time are the ones that get called. Okay? And that's the picture, that's actually a picture. I think before we had to have our rendering in there. But that's the actual picture of our new clinical sciences building, dental clinic. So that whole building, that's all it is dental clinics in there now. And it's right behind the old building. That brick fence kind of runs all around the main campus. So. All right. Any questions? Didn't I answer? Oh, come on. Dr. Smith?
Okay, we'll try to get some action over here. Come on, guys.
I have a question for you. Being a Clemson student, do you give any boost on a GPA or?
That's a great question, actually. No, and how that works is, and I know the College of Medicine, they do weight your GPA. Dental school, we do not, and the reason is the mechanism that they use is Barron's Guide, and what Barron's Guide is based on is how difficult it is to get into the school. So it really ends up being like a popularity contest. You know, I mean, although their academic standards may be at a certain point, if, you know, it's based upon more just the numbers of how many apply versus how many get in. It does not indicate at all the quality of education you get, or if this school is known for its sciences and, you know, the success that you're going to have when you get out. That's why we don't weight the GPAs. However, the committee members all know which schools are good for the sciences and which aren't. So if you have a high science GPA at Clemson, they know that you can handle the coursework when you get there. We've never had problems with Clemson students not being able to, or that struggle in the courses when you get there. There's a couple of schools in the state that are the exact same way. I mean, if you come from there, you know, that's automatically, you know, it's just not a concern. So officially, no, we don't weight it, but it does count when the committee considers, you know, your GPA.
Okay, answer the question about combining DAT scores for multiple tests.
Okay. If you take the DAT this summer and you scored an 18 academic and 20 perceptual, okay, and that's, you know, that's the average of what's going. But you want to be more competitive, so you retake the exam. So you retake it and you get a 19 academic, 19 perceptual. So you went down in your perceptual. We take the highest of the two. So we'll take the 19 academic and 20 perceptual. Okay?
You know, a question I get from students, the academic portion is divided into 3 subtests.
More than that even.
4. So
Well, there's
there's
organic and general, biology, reading, comprehension, quantitative math. Is that 5? Is there one of those? Yeah, so 5.
So I have students say, well, can I take my academic subtest average here, and you can't get down to that
just,
level.
right, just the academic.
There's students that want to say, well, I want to take my biology and put it over here with the chemistry that I took the second time, but it's just at the academic score and the perception score that you can do this.
Yes, but what I would do is if there's a big difference on one of your subcategories, you know when you take the exam, you get the printout, the unofficial score with the breakdown. Access breaks it down, but if you sometimes you submit your access before you take the DAT, so when your access application comes in, it's not printed on there. So in the DAT scores, we'll just have the score, but we don't necessarily get the breakdown. So save those, and then when you retake it, it doesn't hurt to just fax them in or email unofficially, even so it can go in your file. Because then when it's, you know, they're considering everything in front of them, they have those breakdowns. So it never hurts to just, you know, hang on to them, and when you do interview, you can say, you know, because they'll say, is there anything else that you want to tell me? You know, that isn't in here. Any questions about the interview, Dave?
You said to get the interview, it's like half DAT score, half GPA. Now for the GPA, you said that you have your science and your overall. So how do they index you? Do they index you by your overall GPA, or do they put in consideration your science as well?
It's the report has both of them, but your final index is just your overall GPA. But the report that
so they'll look at that for the interview, but maybe after the interview they'll look at your science GPA.
well, and they'll look at the science GPA too, and it's not like it's Dr. Dredd takes it and draws a line at top 12 and say invite baseball. You know, I mean, it kind of does consider, but that I was just kind of giving you, you know, where does he get, how does he decide who gets into that, you know, and that's really how it is, so. Yeah.
Good question. Do you have to send the DAT scores again once you submit the ad?
No, you don't have to. The DAT, as long as you check the box, you know, to send it to MUSC, they send it, and we have to have that
Keep
official
that
set.
on file.
Right,
Okay.
yeah. But we don't always get the breakdown, the printout. Okay, so like your committee member may not have that in front of them when they interview. Okay.
But if you had to,
Like your score would be in there, like but your total academic.
okay.
You might not have the breakdown.
Okay.
Okay.
The breakdown's on that.
Usually, but as long as you take it before you submit your essay. Because if you retake it, again, we'll get the final score, but we won't have the
So you're saying it's better to send in those
I mean, you don't have to send them in, but I might just kind of have it with me, maybe even, or,
just to say that
yeah,
I'm in
because
trouble with
and
this.
some committee members don't care about the breakdown. My boss, she does. She wants to see it. Because it's not going to help if a student got, you know, a 20 in reading and a 20 in math, but 14 in biology, you know, and then so their averages, it might be skewed, you know, so she wants to see the breakdown. But some committee members, you know,
Will
they'll-
they like tell us if they want to see the breakdown?
They might. Yeah, I mean, if you talk about the DAT, well, they might ask you, what do you think of the DAT? Did you take a capital course or anything like that? Or, you know, and then you can say, yeah, I actually, you know, the academic average that's pretty much what I got across the board. Or say, yeah, and I actually did higher in organic, which, you know, which is usually an indicator.
So looking on negatively, you think if you like multiple times?
No, absolutely not. He asked if it was kind of looked down upon if you take the DAT more than once. Most students, on average, take it, you know, 2, even 3 times. The DAT now, they've limited it to 3 times. So after that, you have to have special permission, which is kind of just have to ask us to write a letter that says that you still are applying. And the reason they did that is they don't want students to just take it 10 times before they apply. They're just trying to kind of make it a little bit more difficult if you want to need to take it all the time. You also have to wait 90 days before you can retake it. So kind of factor that into your time schedule. If you want to try to get 2 scores in during your 1 application cycle, you know, you need to take it early enough to where we can still have your second sem score. Some students get called for, you know, we had a case a couple of years ago where a girl came in and her GPA was high. The first time she took the DAT, she didn't score very well, but she still got called for an interview. And she said, you know, I am retaking it, and had the date she'd already signed up for even, which was better. Because then when the committee discussed her the following week, they said, you know, should we defer voting until after she takes it the second time? And they agreed yes. And part of it was because she already had the date. Even she wasn't just like, well, yeah, I think I'll retake it, you know. And she improved drastically. And you know, she was sick the first time she took it, and you know, when she signed up for it, it kind of stuck with that date. So in her case, it was great. So if you do plan on retaking it, if you're not real happy with the first set of scores, set that date, even though it's 90 days out. Because then if you do commit to the interview, you know, you can tell the committee that I am definitely retaking it. I know I can do higher, you know, do better on it. And then make sure when you take it, you fax in your unofficial set of scores, because it still does take a while for your official to come. So, any questions on that?
Yes. How long does it take for them to process your folder? Because I know, like, so say you send it in like June 15th, that's the
Right.
earliest, but you're not going to take, I don't know, the DAT until July. Like, will they know, like, will they get it that next week and have to wait to see your DAT, or does it usually take a while?
No,
for
like
them to,
first your application will come from ADSS, and then your DAT score actually comes from a different place. So, but in everything, it takes like, I mean, about 3 weeks for everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
For them to like register you and get all your
I mean, not the MUSC part doesn't, and because what happens is like, it all just, they'll send a disk, like a computer disk, and then they just download all of the scores, and it just kind of filters in. So then there's some get bounced out because like a social doesn't match or something. So just kind of be cautious of that when you fill out those numbers, because that's usually how it all is, just based upon like your social security number or whatever. So it does happen sometimes where you kind of get put in this other pile that somebody actually has to go through manually sometimes. But yeah, everything takes about 3 weeks. And you can check your status. And a couple of you I know are applying now, so you go online and kind of see. It'll tell you what we've received, what we're still missing. You know, now, I mean, pretty much, we don't do anything by paper anymore. Like, everything's online, so it makes it easy. Yes, ma'am.
Do legacies play a factor